it's really wonderful to have your painting on view here at Woodmere, and I love the way it's very engulfing. The color really pulsates, and it grabs me. The question I have for you is, what is it about grids that make compelling material for your art? What's it about?
Well, the grid for me it does have a historical sort of reference to early modernism and this sort of flattening of space. And in a way, I kind of consider myself a modernist at heart. I appreciate the work that they were, the ideas that they were pushing.
So are you thinking about Broadway Boogie Woogie and Mondrian and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Mondrian, of course. And I see that work as being prescient in a way, in how it sort of predicted our contemporary culture and how we rely so much on the grid, and it's become even more so with screens. And how we relate to screens, digital screens.
You mean video screens?
Video screens, television screens, computer screens. These are kind of I see them as sort of continuations of those, or maybe those ideas becoming true and applied into a broader cultural sense. That prediction, that technology, or that appreciation of technology. Now we look at screens and we just see them as a means to an end, but I was always interested in the idea of deconstructing the screen and understanding what makes images on a television screen work. So those grid structures are really the building blocks of not only the early distill artists, but also of every image that we see that's been printed digitally, or every digital image we see on a television screen or a video screen.
But I have to ask you, because to me your painting, part of its quality is that it's very painterly. There are parts where the paint drips, and there's a real sensuality to that, combined with the intense sense of color. You have a very unique color palette for painting like this. It's surprising to me that you're talking about digital imagery, because I wouldn't necessarily think that looking at the picture. So is that an intellectual inspiration that somehow takes abstract form through the paint for you, or how does that?
As a painter, I see digital screens as a sort of something outside of painting that can inform or feed painting the way that maybe photography has fed painting in the past, or the landscape. It's a subject matter that helps to maybe give new life, breathe life into painting for me. As a painter, I process everything through paint. The world that I see, and that's pretty common.
That's interesting.
So for me, the light of the screen, the construction of the screen, the mechanism of the screen was.
And then everything's broken down into a digital unit.
Yeah, and these sort of elemental blocks is part of the inspiration for this. But I also see technology as being something as an extension of biology too. It's not being very far from the more visceral aspects of life. I kind of see those things as being alive in a sense too, and just an extension of nature. So for me, let's just say this is my exploration into the natural sublime via technology and interpreted through paint. But I don't have an opposition. I don't see these dichotomies as being in conflict. I just see them as informing one another, at least for me personally. And the idea of screens as a source of information. Funny enough, I grew up in the Atari age, and so
so did I.
I grew up playing Atari. So looking back, I realize I'm playing in these like Russian constructivist like spaces, and I loving them. The geometry, the grid, if you will. So maybe early on the sensibilities were informed.
Interesting.
I've played a lot of Atari.
I have to ask you.